something. Like, I will do anything to get out of this, but you need to give me something. You need to give me a handhold. You need to give me something, because I feel like I'm in this pit and the walls are so slippery and there's nothing. I can barely move. I can't do anything. Like, you need to give me something. Like, I just promise, like, I'll start over. Like, I promise, like, I'll do things. I will help the world. I'll do whatever. But you need to give me something. And it was like this moment where, like, I felt like I was like zapped by electricity. And I don't care who, don't believe me or what, because this is exactly what happened. And it felt like something like zapped me. And it was like this just understanding that I feel like I do not know where it came from, and it just like hit me like straight. And it was like I feel like I had all the answers, like all the answers to everything. Like, for a moment I felt like I knew everything. And it was this weird feeling that I felt like, and I had been like depressed, and from that day, I swear to God, I had been depressed, attempted suicide like 3 different times. And like from that day, like, and I was considering it again, I have never touched depression again. Like, it was like my depression, like, it just cured. I never had an anxiety attack. Well, I never had any of the bad anxiety attacks. I had like just like zap. Like, it felt like something like changed. And I felt like I just knew something that like I felt like I needed to share. You know, and that's when like Kanoya the Omnist started, because I had already been making TikTok videos here and there. So I've been making TikTok videos. But it was just kind of like something I did because I was lonely. I had no one to talk to, you know what I'm saying? So I would talk to a camera. It wasn't really anything big. I'd gone viral like once or twice, like nothing crazy. Nobody really knew who I was. But then I just felt like I was given, like, it was like the most direct answer to a prayer that I've ever had. And to this day, I can't explain what that was. I don't know what clicked. I don't know what happened, but it felt like I knew everything. It felt like I knew exactly what I needed to do. And the first thing that like repeated in my head was like, God isn't love, love is God. Everything is in connection. You need to find where everything connects. You need to find where it all connects, because everything is connected. Everything is and always will be. Like, everything is, like, that was the answer. Like, when people ask me what is the secret of the universe, it is like love is God and everything is everything. That literally is the only way I can tell you what it is. That was the answer. But there's so much meaning. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. It's only one thing. There's only one thing. And to separate them is to step away from God. And love is the thing that connects everything. And it's so corny, but that it is what it is. Like, everything is what it is. Like, that is the answer. If you ask me what is the secret to the universe, and when I was asking God that question, the universe, the answer that I got is that everything is what it is. You know, in the Bible, when I was Christian, they said the I am that I am. Literally, that is the answer. Like, and it doesn't make any sense unless you saw what I did. But it's like, it wasn't words. It wasn't images. It was just a knowing, and those words. It was words and a knowing that I cannot explain. And I have spent, that was like almost 2 years ago. No, it wasn't up to 2 years. It was like a year and a half ago. I spilled my tea talking about this. Ever since that, I feel like I've just been on a journey trying to explain what I was told, and I knew I looked crazy. When I first started my TikTok and I really started posting about this stuff, I knew I looked batshit insane and that wasn't making any sense. But I knew I needed to get it out. Like, I knew something had shifted, something had changed, and I booked that cabin in the woods because I was like, there's something that I need to figure out. Like, I feel like I've just been given like an assignment, and I was. Looking back on it, like, I'm so proud of myself. All I feel is pride, because I've gone through some really dark fucking shit. I've gone through some dark fucking shit, bro. Like, some really fucking dark shit. And so, like, I just was really proud of myself. I still am, because like, I got up, you know, I was still so sick, and I got up and I was like, well, now I need to figure this out. I asked for a handhold, and here it is. And I'm not gonna let this pass, because I can't be here. I tried to kill myself and it didn't work. It didn't work, so I can't die. Like, I have to do something else. And so, you know, I remember so clearly, that was the first time I started meditating. I went to the Buddhist temple. I had some leftover energy. I went to the Buddhist temple for the first time, and I learned to meditate. And I started reading books. I started searching up African spirituality. I started searching up spiritual things. I started like writing stuff down. I'm making videos like I was crazy, because I felt like there's nothing that was like the most spiritual experience that I've ever had in my entire life. And I had another spiritual experience like that right before I like officially lost my ability to walk. And I think that's also the only reason I was able to get through it the way it was. And you know, I had my cabin in the woods, and I started like just talking, and then I started to like have people like my stuff, and that's when I started to like slowly build a following. Yeah. And still, like, you know, I'm not like famous or anything. I barely like, I have like 16k followers on TikTok, whatever, and I have like what, 20 here. And yeah. And so like I just started like working on it, and like I knew nothing, I had nothing, I was in debt, you know, I was in a lot of debt, I was sick, I didn't have a job. I had just used the last of my savings because I knew I was gonna go back to my parents' house, and you know, my parents and I had had an awful relationship, like for a very long time, like a very, very bad relationship. And so I was like, I need at least like I need a second to breathe, I need to figure out what the fuck just happened to me. And so I started making videos, and I start like just connecting with nature and meditating like they taught me in the Buddhist temple. And like for the first time in my life, I was at peace. And so and then I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like the things that I learned about alchemy, the things that I learned about love and like unconditional love, and like that the only way to get out of anything was unconditional love, and like if there's nothing else that you can use to orient yourself in this world, you gotta just love. You gotta love yourself, you gotta love the world around you, the environment, the nature around you, and you gotta love other people. Like that's the only way you can orient yourself in this world. And so like every time like things happen to me, the only thing that I think about like is how can I find that love again? And I feel like that is the secret to alchemy. Like, yes, you need to transform everything, but you will never be able to really fully alchemize if you don't understand what love is. Or like you don't need to understand it fully, but you need to have at least like the mustard seed of understanding, because it takes a mustard seed. And then that's another thing that happened to me, is that I started re-understanding the teachings of the church. I had like been a big enemy of the church. I don't like the church still, but I used to hate Christianity. And I still have beef with Christianity in the way that it's used in modern day society. But being a pastor's kid, spending all important events in the church, going to the church 3 times a week growing up, you know, being like in like every like church organization, like being a church servant, whatever, that's what they call them, the servants of the church or whatever. Like I know the Bible. I know Christianity, like I know it. And it never made any sense to me. And for the first time after that awakening, it was like I saw everything that you were supposed to get from the Bible. And so then I started coming back to Christianity again. I started like looking back at some of the things that they told me, and I look at how bad it's been warped. Even like, and a lot of people said, yeah, there's some churches that are like cultish. No, I think that it's like very like on my hand churches that probably are teaching things that are actually very like very aligned with what was actually supposed to be taught by what Jesus was saying and Christ consciousness. I started really getting into like, I had already been into tarot cards and I had had some crystals, but I didn't really believe in them. I was kind of like out of like curiosity. I started really getting into like the idea of witchcraft, Buddhism, African spirituality, and I was like, bro, like they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying what I was told, and that's how I know this wasn't some delusional, manic, whatever, like crazy person. Like, oh, this was just because you were blah, 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 like you weren't doing anything and it just sent you to psychosis. Blah, blah. No, because I was looking at all these religions and these spiritualities, looking, and I was like, all I was seeing was what I was told, and it was like, everything is everything. There is no right religion. There is no right way of being. Everything is everything. The only way you are wrong is when you are separating yourself. When you are leading with hatred and separation, that is when you are wrong. If you are leading with connection and love, you are correct no matter what. No matter what. And that is what every single religion and spirituality at its core, not before it's been twisted by whatever propaganda or messaging. That is what it's teaching. You know what I'm saying? And it's God is love, God is love. No, it's love is God. Love is the vibration, is the Christ consciousness. Love is the vibration we need to be on to connect to God. People will be like, I can't speak to God. I can't hear when God is speaking to me. Number one, God doesn't speak in words. And I think I'm blessed. Not many people get to be told things the way that I was told things, so directly and like so, you know what I'm saying? Like straight into the brain, like straight into the dome. Like you ask God, give me an answer. And he goes, here you go. That was very, very like, I'm very blessed. And I still know, I do know why I was given. I'm not going to say I don't know why I was given the assignment that I was. I knew that I am the person who's supposed to, I know that I had been given, you know, looking back, and I was walking with so much faith, and I still am walking with so much faith. But looking back and looking at myself now, like I have everything that is needed to give this message that I was given, because that's another thing that I was taught is about flow. Whenever you cut off the flow, you are separating yourself. If you are given something, you must give it back, or you are cutting off the flow. You are given something, you are giving it back. And this is something people never understand. Like, why do you make TikTok videos? Why are you making so many TikTok videos? Because I have to. I have to. I have to. That's the one thing, is that every energy is double-sided, triple-sided actually. But that's a lot more complicated than I can explain to you right now. Every energy is double-sided for conversational purpose. Love and hate are the same vibration. Pain and pleasure are the same vibration. Anxiety and excitement are the same vibration. They're the same thing, a different perspective. And what changes them is how closed off or opened off you are. Like, it is literally, how are you directing? Are you directing it and you crunching it in, or are you letting it go? Do you know what I'm saying? And jealousy and admiration is another one. I don't know why I feel like I need to say jealousy and admiration are the same vibration. And so when I was given this was made very clear to me. I cannot keep this to myself or it will burn me alive. And this is half another, like, I have certain theories about like mental illnesses, and I have certain theories about like disabilities. I have certain theories about spiritual. That's more like woo 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 woo. But I do believe that a lot of times, like, if you have spiritual gifts or you have spiritual things or have a spiritual task that you are not following, that shit will plague you. Like, it will plague you. Like, if you are asked to do something, like, I think about this, and I'm going to reference the Bible a lot again, because that's what I have. That's what I have the knowings of. Not because I think that Christianity is the highest religion or the default religion or anything. But like I'm thinking about like Jonah. Like, Jonah was asked to do something and he didn't do that, and he was swallowed by the fish. Yeah, that type of thing. If you are asked to do something and you don't do that, you will be plagued. Some of the most spiritually powerful people, and I'm saying this as someone who was plagued, like I was plagued. Like, everyone who looked at me, they would have seen like someone who was just down, who was just like other, who was just weak, who was just incapable, who was just a mess. Like, that's what you would have seen. That's all you would have seen. That's all still some people see of me, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you have like some of the most powerful people are some of the most plagued people, like, and I will stand on that, they're some of the most plagued people on this fucking planet. But once you find that thing that is like, you find that switch and you flip it, things will shift. And also just realizing that things are not one or separated, and they all are. And once you realize everything is that it is, everything is everything, you can look at your pain and be like, this pain is everything. It is everything. It is part of everything. It is a perspective of something. And if I want it to be something else, I don't need to remove it. I don't need to dismiss it. I don't need to reject it. I need to take it. I need to look at it. I have to observe it. I have to see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? I have to understand it. And yes, it will hurt. You cannot escape pain. You can't. That's the point of living. That's the point of being alive. You will hurt. And the people that are trying to escape pain are just pushing the pain onto everyone else. The rich who are trying to live in like this greedy luxury where they never have to lift a finger, they're just taking their pain and they're pushing it on other people. But that pain will always be there, no matter what. You can either push it on someone else, or you can sit down and fucking experience it and understand it and then mold it. And once you understand how it's shaped, then you know where to grab to switch it around. And what gives you the power to mold, what makes that sting softer, is that love. That is what gives you the ability to change. You know what I'm saying? It is what you need to orient yourself in. And when I realized this pain that I'm experiencing, this overflowing pain that I was in all the time, physical pain, emotional pain, like, I was always in pain. And there was a period of time where I thought I was literally in hell. Like, there was a period of time when I was so depressed where I thought that there's no way that hell could be worse than this. There's no way there's anything worse than this, what I was experiencing. Like, I knew that I logically knew that physically some people were going through worse shit, but mentally I was fighting demons, bro. I was fighting demons. I was like, I must have done something. I must be condemned to hell. I must have been. And that's another thing I learned in the spiritual community. They say heaven and hell are the same. Heaven and hell all exist within earth. And I believe that because I've experienced heaven and I've experienced hell on this earth too. You know what I'm saying? And everything exists all at once. Then you realize that what you need is already there. You don't need anything else. You just need to see it. You just need to uncover it. And that also brought me to my study of time. There was a period of time, and I knew this is when I started sounding really crazy. Real manic. But I never was manic. I boarded it sometimes. because if you've been through a very intense spiritual awakening like mine, you will know that sometimes mania is what you need to go to go through. You need to ground yourself. Mania is you getting all of the information without grounding it. Let me say this. You become manic when you are given a lot of spiritual information, but you do not ground it in reality. That's why a lot of times when people are manic, they're like, oh, they have all these big goals, these big dreams. Da, da, da. You can have that grounded in reality. And I'm glad that I was told that was something I needed to do, because I would have gone straight on it. Because there were some periods I was like teetering on the edge. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I never fully like was manic. So thank God, right? Thank you. But I got really into time. And the one thing that started repeating in my head, and ever since then, I've had, and I realized time here. Like, I realized I have always, looking back, I realized I have always had the ability to communicate with beyond. With beyond, yeah. I've always had voices in my head, like, oh, yeah, that's gonna make me sound crazy. I don't care, whatever, fuck being crazy. Then the church always say Jesus is there. Sometimes he's just a really quiet voice in the back of your head, and it's being drowned out, but he's always there. Yes, there was a voice, because when I listen to the voice now, I know that it was always at the back of my head. It was always at the back of my head, but my self-hate, my other things were like filtering it in a way that made it very like scary to me, so I avoided it. But ever since that switch was flipped in my head, during that period where in hearing like this constant dialogue, not constant, but it's like this constant information source that I can tap into when I need to, and it feels like having a conversation, but it's like literally just tapping into an energy source that this is how I get people like, how do you know all the things, like, where do you get all this? And like, yes, I'm very smart. I've always been very smart. I was a child genius. Like, I was always been the youngest in the room, always been the youngest in my classes, always been smart as fuck. Like, this is not to say that I'm not smart, but there are certain things that I know that I'm like, I know because I know. I just know because that's what I can see it. Like, it's just there for me. Like, it's just like I have a book that I'm reading off of. Again, very blessed. It feels like I just have a book that I'm reading off of. I'm just reading off to you. I feel like my intelligence actually just comes from me being able to explain it more than me knowing. Like, I can explain it because I have the experience that I have teaching. But my knowing, I just know. And so it's been like that. And and sometimes that stream will like take a more active role, and it will direct me into certain things that I need to. And sometimes I don't realize I've been directed, but it's like one thing that happens when your entire world just crashes down and you lose everything down to your ability to move your body. One thing you learn is just release. Like, okay, take me where you need to take me. Like, okay, where are we going right now? Where I've been very go with the flow, and people haven't understood it at all. Like, I remember Timon told me quit my job, I quit it. And everyone's like, why the fuck do you quit my job? I quit it because I was told to. Don't care if it's crazy. And also because I was getting sick. But that's a whole other session. Time, I remember time is still here. And this energy like really wanted me to understand time. Like, really was talking to me about time and quantum physics and reality jumping and like shifting. And not necessarily because shifting, for example, shifting, is it real? I'm not going to talk about that. But is it useful? Did it have some useful knowledges? Yes. Manifestation. This is when I got into like the witchcraft time stuff, like the astrophysics, like the time. Time is a fabric. But how do I wish I have fabric here. I have fabric here. This is time. Yeah? This is time. A lot of people think that time is I should have had some things prepared. Ugh, I don't know what. Okay, I'm gonna use this. A lot of people think that time is like this string. Okay? And that you start here and you go down a straight line and it goes only one way. And that you have to, and like sometimes the string has branches and you have to pick the right branch to go down to get to where you want to. And some branches are going to be closed off to you if you don't take them. So that's where you have to make the right decision. You have to be smart. You have to be reasonable. You have to have this to succeed. This is where people get the, like, if you don't have this, you don't have this, because you're not on this right branch. But time and you see this little point, this little thing, are a particle. You are a singular point on this fabric. And time flows in a certain direction, yes. When you are in here, there's a certain general direction that it will flow in. And you will naturally be pulled that way. There's a natural current. That's a better way to say there's a natural current. You'll be naturally pulled one way. But the thing about seeing time as a fabric Every single moment and possibility is on this fabric. This fabric is infinite. Okay? Every reality. Okay, people think that like different realities are realities that are stacked on top of each other when it's all just all on one fabric. Every reality that is possible in this universe is here. Even realities that would have been possible if we formed a different universe would be very far. What is making them inaccessible to us is not the fact that they are off limits. It is the fact that they're too far. They're too far on this fabric. So let's say if the Big Bang or whatever, the start of the universe was here, and we have the elements that we got, and they're right here. And that means that if we wanted to get into a different type of universe, it'd be like over here, like all the way on the other side. It'd be hard to get that way far. But if you are trying to manifest something, if you try to get to your reality, you have to acknowledge that every single moment that you want to achieve already is happening. They all happen simultaneously. Every moment in time already exists. Every possibility already exists. Everything that could ever happen to you has already happened. Every possibility has happened. You have no access to it yet. Okay, this is the core of manifesting. If you cannot get this concept, it's going to be so much harder for you to manifest. Everything that could ever happen to you already is happening. Okay, and that is why a lot of times when you manifest, they tell you like, oh, you have to say, I already have this, I already am, because it's number one, going to get you in the right mindset. But number two, because it already has happened to you, you're just not experiencing it yet. It's not that it hasn't happened, it's that you're not experiencing that. So to get to one experience that you can now map I wish I could come closer. Maybe I guess I could come closer. I say I wish I could come closer when I literally have to. You now have this point that you're at. You now, what you do, what manifestation does, people think that it transports you there. No, manifestation is like having a GPS and putting in the destination to a GPS. Okay? And the GPS is now going to map a route for you or show you a general direction. And now it's your job to find out how to get from point A to get to where you want to go. Now, that if you had it manifested, you would have probably just gone down this flow. But now that you have your GPS, you can now take an active role in what direction you want to go into. That's a little bit breakdown on what manifestation and time. And they really wanted me to learn. Whatever entity I say they, because I'm going to just say my spirit guides, the universe really wanted me to learn about time. And it changed everything for me. My study for time, I think, was when the biggest pivot happened. And I was like, well, now I have to put it into practice. And as I already mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have been getting some major manifestations. And I started, like, when I really started understanding I could manifest is when I manifested a free cruise. A free week cruise, food and boarding and everything paid for. And then when I got on the cruise, I started getting free drinks too. Like, I was like, I went on this cruise and people were literally like, look, I'm someone, I feel like I was destined. I do believe in destiny, but I believe that destiny is something that is innate. Like, it is a code that is in you rather than outcome. There are certain things that have been coding within you to allow to prime you for something, and you fulfilling that code is fulfilling your destiny, not necessarily because there's a destined path for you to go down. Does that make any sense? Like, does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, I remember, like, people have told me some things. There are certain things that have happened to me, and I guess admitting that, like, I have been ordained by the universe, I have been ordained by God, like, that's something, like, that's something that's been very important is supposed to happen with me. And it is bigger than me, but it is supposed to, like, I'm supposed to be the conduit, the tool, the something for something. And I do not know what it is yet, because there's no way in hell, heaven, the earthly realm, that the things that have happened to me have happened for no reason. And I have been given the level of power that I have been given, like spiritual power, for no reason. Because I would get on this cruise and people would be like, like, he was like, I am so glad that I have met you. I cannot wait to say that I have met Kanoya. Interesting. A random person just said that to me. Just out of nowhere. People be like, oh, wow. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I've had people come up to me randomly. I remember I was vending. This was a long time ago. This was before my life started crashing and burning. Someone, I remember walking. I was vending at this market. And someone walked. They stopped. Like, they're dazed. They look around. They turn. They look at me. We make eye contact. They look at me. And then they just start beelining to me. And they're like, I need to tell you something. I never met this man in a while. This was some white man. He come up to me and he's like, I need to tell you something. I don't know. This was some of the weirdest thing that happened to me. He's like, you are going to do something very, very great. You need to know this. Like, And this was before things started crashing, where like right before. Like, I need you to know this. Like, like, then he just walks away. He's like, have a good day, walk away. And this wasn't just like a compliment. Like, this man looked like he had suddenly just been possessed by something. He walked, he looked, he's dazed, like he just looks at me. I'm like, huh? Like, there's certain things that have happened to me that I'm just kind of like, the way there's certain things and certain ways that people have reacted to me that I'm like, there's something, because I do believe that everybody has some type of innate spiritual awareness. It's how tapped in, like any other skill. Like, some people have more, like some people can sing naturally, or with training you can sing, like, you know what I'm saying? There's some people have more, but everyone has some type of innate ability. And so there's certain ways that people, like, I feel like they know something that I do not. I feel like there's been a lot of times in this life where I feel like people have known things that I have not. And then when I manifested this free cruise, it just came out of nowhere. Someone was like, oh, suddenly had, like, someone had to call out from this cruise, but they couldn't get a refund. You come on the cruise with us. She already paid for everything, and she paid for this nice room, blah, 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 blah. I was supposed to get a balcony room. Didn't get it, but it's okay, whatever. And I feel like that really just, like, really spun me, because I also then started getting, like, a lot of things for free. I suddenly started being in the right rooms. I suddenly started meeting right people. I suddenly started having people, like, come up to me, or like have people, like, conversations where I just feel like doors opened. Just like came and I talked and the door opened. And that's how I started to feel like I was on a divine path. Like, you might be like, why did you quit your job? Why did you do that? Because when you are on a divine path, it's not that it doesn't take work, because I am working. Like, I am working. But it is a work that comes with ease. Hard work, yes, but easy hard work. Like, there's this ease. Like, yes, I still have to go out there. Yes, I still have to do this. Yes, I still have to do this. Yes, I have to practice the way I talk. I had to practice this. I had to practice this. I had to practice. I had to build my portfolio. I had to do this. I had to network. I had to do. But when it came down to it, when it came time, the door would open. The door would honestly already be fucking open. Like, somebody had started opening the doors. Like, yes, I had to do the, like, walking to get there, but the door was open. There are certain times in life, and this is how I knew, like, and like, I have gotten to the point of my healing where I can say I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me, which is crazy. It's a very crazy part to be in your point of healing. Because if I had gone down that path, it felt like I was banging against the wall. And there's some of you that feels like you'll be at your job, you'll be at this, and it just feels like you were, like, dragging your entire spirit and your entire soul, and you're going, open, 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 let me through. And it feels like you're just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like. I was at my dream job, living in my dream apartment. You know, I was doing everything correctly. You know, I had just come, I graduated, I started college at 16, you know what I'm saying? I did this, I got this directorate, I did this, and like, I was killing it, I was killing it. You know what I'm saying? It was everything that I said I wanted, and it wasn't correct. It wasn't right. It wasn't what I wanted. It was what I thought I wanted, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I needed. And the universe took that away from me real quickly. To the point that I'm like, sometimes I'm still scared. Like, that's why sometimes people are like, oh, you just follow, like, God's direction so easily. I see what God does when I don't. I see how whip that shit from me so quickly. I said, God damn. I said, God damn. Hello? I'm scared. Like, now me and the universe, we got, like, a little bit more of a, like, a flow, you know what I'm saying, relationship. But I'm telling you, the universe will whip the fuck out of me. I'm not lying. Like, and that's also how you know that you're ordained. Like, sometimes when you're going through some really bad shit, it's because sometimes, like, you have a path that you really need to be on, and you are not on it, and nothing will work out to you until you get the fuck on it. Because I have never experienced this type of ease in my life, apart from when I started this. Because this is also kind of funny. Back when COVID happened, you know, I started on this path. Like, when I have nothing to do, I start doing this. Like, it starts happening naturally for me. I start to do this, and I start to do this, and I start to do this. And when I stray, that's when I start to get stressed. That's when I start to get sick. That's when I start to get this. When it feels like I'm taking my entire willpower to use something, it doesn't need to feel like it's taking your entire willpower. Yes, you'll do work, but it feels different. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It will feel different. Okay, because this feels like the doors are open, this ease, and this is how I know I'm on the right path. Like, yes, it's hard. Yes, I still, like, post on social media, and I get, like, 2 likes. Literally. I literally get 2 likes. Or I'll go and I'll get an opportunity and the door will close in my face. and I get no's, and I like sometimes work and I feel like I'm having no money, but I just know it's right. And like nobody can tell you what is right unless it's you, because this is the path that I'm taking is, number one, the path less traveled, and also the path that I've been trying to be scared of my entire life. The path that people told me was not smart, would make me broke, would make me this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and you'll fail, and this, like fear mongered me about this path, like being an artist so bad, being being a content creator, talking about this, like not being Christian, fear mongered me so bad. So bad. You would think I was trying to become a serial killer. You would have thought I said I wanted to be a serial killer, not a spiritually based artist. You know what I'm saying? You would have thought I was trying to be a serial killer. Suck the book down. Serial killer. Cereal. Anyway, let me not. I don't know why. I want cereal. I want cereal. I don't really like cereal, but I kind of want cereal. Anyway, this video is starting to get really, really long. I kind of went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And oh, I guess we'll tie it back to alchemy. Okay. That's also like some of the tenets, because alchemy needs to come from a place of I don't want to say no fear and still be an alchemist, but assurance is rather than. You can be afraid and you can be assured. Like you can be afraid and still be strong-footed. Yes, that's it. It comes from this strong-footed place. And if you are in a current that is not in your vibration, that's too harsh for you, too light for you, to this, you cannot grind like ground your heels. Hello, ground your heels in. It's gonna be much harder for you to alchemize. So that's why you need to because you can alchemize from a non-regulated nervous system, yes, but you have to at least start making yourself, because you are more powerful. You can always do anything from anywhere. Everything is everything. You know what I'm saying? You can do anything from anywhere, but the magnitude and the strength, correction, it's not that it's I think because I keep acting like it is a place. It's not a place, it is a pattern of movement. Okay, so that is what I'm doing wrong. When you need to be an alchemist, you have to be on a certain vibe, on a certain wave, on a certain pattern of movement, because a wave is a pattern of movement, and you can go this way or you can go this way. You have to be on a certain like pattern of movement to alchemize. You can do alchemy from any type or any like flavor of thing. I don't know why flavor was the word that I was given. Flavor. Any flavor, like it tastes, oh yeah, if it tastes sweet, spicy, bitter, like whatever life is giving you right then, you can alchemize. But you have to be on a certain vibration, and that vibration is going to be easiest to achieve when you are in alignment. You need to get into alignment to alchemize. You need to get in love. Love is that alignment. And again, you don't need buckets and buckets of love, because the universe is infinite. If you have a mustard seed, you have an infinite amount of love. I don't care what you say. If you have a mustard seed of faith, you have an infinite amount of faith. You just need to focus in on it. Oh, I got a visualization. Everything is infinite. This is the last thing that I need to tell you before I go. Everything, I guess we'll use this. Everything is infinite. Let me fold up the scarf. Measurements are a man-made construct. I need you to hear me, because this is going to sound crazy, but I need you to listen to me. Measurements are a man-made construct. How long is this? How long is this? First, you have to access a man-made concept. Oh, this is so many inches. This is so many centimeters. But if you didn't have a man-made concept, how long is this? You might say, oh, this is the length of half of my forearm or something. Or still, you're basing it off of your perspective. How long is this? Could I technically go down and count the amount of atoms in this and be like, it is this amount of atoms long? Could I technically break down those atoms and be like, oh, this is how many quarks or protons? That's what those are called. Protons. This amount of protons or electrons in it. Yeah. Could you break down those electrons and be like, oh, this amount of quarks in there? Could you break that down and go, could you technically break this down infinitely? This scarf that I'm holding is infinite. Why am I telling you this? You only need a mustard seed because you can zoom in. If you focus, this is why people say perspective is so important. If Perspective and what you are focusing on and where you are focusing your energy is all that matters. It doesn't matter the size of your faith. It doesn't matter the size of your love. All you need to do is focus on that love. If all you hear in your head is I hate you, I hate you, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, and then one thing says I love this, focus on that. Focus on that. I don't care what else is happening in your head. Like, this is what happens. Like, people think you need to change, you need to turn off, you need to know. Find what you are looking for and focus in and start zooming in, because it is infinite. Whatever you think that is small, it doesn't matter if it appears small to you, it is infinite. All right, let me say it again. You need a mustard seed of faith. You need a mustard seed of love. You need a mustard seed of whatever, because that mustard seed is infinite. All you need to do is zoom in. You need to dig in it. You need to get in it. Yeah, you need to go into it. And you will see that it will start to widen up into something you could have never experienced. There's this game, this pizza game, that would be a kind of good way to show this pizza game. And I don't remember what it's called. I just remember it's this you get into this slice, the pan of pizza, and you keep going round and round and round, and things keep zooming in, and then you get into another and keep zooming in, and you go round and round and round and round and keep zooming in. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah? That is why you only need a mustard seed. You don't need anything more than that, because you can get in it. You can zoom into it. Yeah. And so when you are trying to alchemize, when you're trying to turn something from one thing, find where it already is at. That's another thing. Find where it already is at and then zoom in, because it's already infinite. It's already there. It already has all you need. That's the mentality you need to get into when you're trying to alchemize. I already have everything that I need, even if it looks small, even if it looks like nothing, if it looks like a wisp of smoke, it doesn't matter. You can use it. You can use it because it's infinite. Everything is infinite. Everything is infinite, because how far can you break down something? I have a theory, and it's not even a theory. You can, if you have the tools to do so, you can break down anything infinitely. You can break down any atom. You can break down anything. The only thing that's limited is our perspective and our capabilities. The universe isn't limited. We are. The universe isn't limited. We are. God isn't limited. We are. Yeah? And you also aren't, actually. Another correction from the universe. You aren't limited. This body is, because you are a spirit. You contain multitudes. You contain infinity. You contain beautiful things, but you're too focused on this physical realm, this limited perspective that you are forced into. This body's perspective is limited, but you are infinite too, just like the universe, because you are the universe. You are God. You are a sliver of God. You are a limited no, I don't. You are. I drew this diagram. On the phone with a friend, one of my closest friends, the love of my life. Okay. Oh, I hope this diagram is in here. I have a lot of diagrams. I have a lot of diagrams. Oh my God, I don't know if it's gonna be in here. Oh, I have to look for this diagram. I have to. Oh shit. Okay. These are like. There's so many diagrams. Like, I keep telling y'all, I be sketching diagrams. Like, I was a crazy person. Like, God started giving me stuff. I started writing stuff down. I started putting stuff to paper. I started, like, baby, diagrams on diagrams on diagrams on diagrams. And I do not know where this this was the first diagram I ever drew. That's how I keep telling y'all shit is infinite. Because the knowledge I was given, it was one statement. Everything is everything. Love is God. Or two statements. I could go on it. Like, I could go forever. Like, if you asked me to talk forever, I could. Just give me enough water to sustain me. You know, give me an immortality pill. Give me whatever, and I could keep going. I found it. These were the first diagrams I ever drew. Okay? This one is what I'm talking about. If God was this shape here, and I know this makes absolutely no sense. If God was this shape right here, you would be a finger of God. You are God. You are not all of God. You are simply an appendage. And if you reach back, but you are still connected, you are always and forever connected to God. Right here, right here. Like, this has separated themselves from God. That is the separation is what is bad. That is when you cut yourself off from the flow. But this isn't accurate, because even if you cut yourself off, there's still a sliver. All you need to do, if you want to get back to it, you just got to focus on that sliver, and it will widen itself back up to you. if you are lost, you need to go deeper to find God. And that's my problem with this religion, is because they tell you to look out into here when it's actually in here. It's this way. It is not this way. Not with what you see with your eyes, not with what you hear with your ears, not with what you smell with your nose, not what you feel. It is what you, this is what the third eye has always signified. And third eye, I know people like draw eye, they do this, but the third eye has always signified the looking of the inward, the eye that you have that goes into your mind. It goes the other way. It doesn't go the way of these eyes. It goes, you need to look with God with your third fucking eye. In here. This way. Not this way. You are this. And God is infinite because, so you are infinite, but you are restricted by your perspective. By this sliver, this perspective makes it seem, because if you were to cut all this all off and all you can see is this, you would think that you are not infinite. You think you were just a finger. You wouldn't see the rest of yourself. Yeah? I drew this other diagram. I'm talking about this is God and then these are the humans here, and then I thought this was more accurate. I drew this a long time ago. I can't believe I still have these diagrams. And I also had drawn this diagram because I had talked about how, like, when we think about, this was right before I lost my walking. This is right before I like officially lost my ability to walk this time around. I had drawn this because I had told her I had another spiritual thing. I had told her, and I was like, you're the only person who's not going to call me crazy. I told her, and I felt like somebody was touching my head. Like, I felt like my entire, like, body, like, from here down here was burning, like, burning. And I got this message. And he was like, you need to go out. Oh, sounds like some Bible shit. God showed me this is us. We are these little like things, these little things. And that there are some people who have separated themselves up. And it is our job. No, that's incorrect. Something about that's incorrect. Again, I get corrected. Something about that's incorrect. No. Bring light into the darkness without separating yourself from the light. The reason I had drawn this is because I had been telling her is that we are supposed to engage with the darkness. Like, that's another thing with the Christianity, is that this purity complex that they sell you. They sell you this purity complex. I was telling her because I was told about creation. Not how the world was created, but the idea of creation. The creation of nothing out of something, or something out of nothing. But nothing is something. And the only way to bring light is to extend yourself into the darkness. You cannot be light within light, because then you are just God. There's a dimension that needed to happen, that you need to go out and you need to light the darkness, and then from that darkness you create more light. This is giving very Christian evangelist, but it's not in the same way Christian evangelists do. Like, a lot of things, that's what I keep saying. Christians they get a lot right, but they also get it completely wrong. Like, they have like the form, but they do not have the rhythm. Because there is flow, and there's the God of rigidity and the God of flow. There is what stands between them. The God of flow and the God of rigidity, and what stands between them. I'm not talking about this now. I'm not talking about this now. But you guys are gonna remind me that's what I need to talk about for my next video. And what they get right is the rigidity. What they do not get right is the flow. And as a Christian, or as a spiritual warrior, or as a spiritualist, you are supposed to be what stands in between them. What stands in between them is supposed to be us. But they're too much into the God of rigidity, which is why they cannot help nothing. That's how God wants you to view yourself, as a finger of God, as an appendage of God, not separate, but as a part, as something. You know, even in the Bible they say he breathed his life into us, because we have the life force of God. The fact that we are conscious means that we have the life force of God. Everything has the life force of God, and that's going to get into that flow and play. That's going to get into that flow and play whenever I talk about that. But you have the Spirit of God in you. That is how you are conscious. Everything has the Spirit of God in it. The fact that there's energy, the fact that anything is moving, is the Spirit of rigidity. The God of rigidity is this cup. Is the God of flow. If there was no God in flow, we would all just be frozen. There would be no life. We would be things. Anything that makes anything move is so light is part of the God of flow. Heat, movement. Okay? If it moves, it is conscious. So heat in itself is a form of consciousness. A very basic form of consciousness. I don't care. Call me crazy. I don't care. It is. Animals are conscious. Plants are conscious. It is not that they are not. It is the flow. The appendage, goddamn. The appendage might be thinner. Yeah? Like for us, our appendages are thicker. Theirs might be like a strip. It might be this. It might be, but it's there. It is still connected. Everything has to be connected or it would not exist within this reality. Nothing in this reality is still. Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. So if it vibrates, it is alive in a sense. It has consciousness in a sense. Everything vibrates. Nothing in this world does not move. It's just a matter, something being still is a matter of perspective. For example, how many miles an hour are we spinning on this earth right now? Does it feel like we're going however kilometers or whatever an hour, a second? Does it feel like we're doing that? No, but we are. We're technically spinning very, 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 very fast right now. Always, all the time. But it feels like we're still, sitting still. But it's, again, matter of perspective. Not that so everything is moving. Everything has consciousness in it. Everything has rigidity and consciousness in it. And I will talk about that later because it's me to revisit these because I drew this like months ago before trauma scrambled my fucking brain. Crazy how the God was like, I have an assignment for you again. You need to do something, and then immediately takes my ability to walk. Like, fuck you. No, but fuck you. I understand the reasoning after, but like, damn, you could have been nicer. And then the universe will always tell me like, no, but you're stubborn. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because every time I'm like, universe, you could have been nicer. You didn't need to do it like that. They're like, could I? And I'm like, no, you probably couldn't have. Because I'm stubborn as fuck. I'm stubborn as fuck, bro. I'm stubborn as fuck. Sometimes you really do just gotta grab me and drag me to get me to do something. Sorry. That's the way you made me, though. That's the way I was made, though. So, okay, stay blessed, y'all. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching me cry. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more. I'm ordained from God. I'm a messenger content. If you want some more of the spiritual content, let me know. Because I love talking about it, obviously. It changed my life. It saved my life. Like, I would not be here. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for that revelation that I had. Okay. Y'all stay blessed.